the balls to bring a pew-pew. And he missed! We were a second away! We were a centimeter away from half of the problem being gone, and you missed!
Some liberals with undiagnosed mental illness are angry because the assassination on Trump was unsuccessful. Welcome back to the JP Reacts channel, my beautiful freedom-loving friend. This is where we like to call out the lies, hypocrisy, and corruption of the tyrants and Satan. He's been doing some stuff and failing, thank God. We shine the light of awareness on woke absurdities and highlight the amazing work of other freedom fighters. Predictably, in the wake of the attempted assassination of President Trump, through the grace of God, his hand was working, divine intervention, the bullet missed by millimeters. He's still alive. Hope for America, I would dare say America is still alive. Hope for America is still alive because President Trump is still alive. Yet predictably, some liberals who suffer from a mental illness called Trump derangement syndrome are freaking out, showing their true colors, but I think more so they're showing the severity of how their minds have been severely hijacked by not their own thinking, the messages of the media throughout this whole thing, and we'll see in a little bit. I would dare say the messages of the media are something that would have provoked this assassination on President Trump. I think it was the deep state, but let's just pretend it was a lone gunman. Media, you're responsible. Now, the people that you're about to see, it sounds very vile, and it is. Wishing that someone who has served their country died. Not like, oh, I'm glad he's alive, even though I don't agree with him politically, but just like freaking out, wishing he was dead. It is vile for sure, and I think it is evil. I don't think these people are evil. I think they have evil working through them. As Tucker Carlson said on Joe Rogan's podcast a few months ago, I think it was so wise. He said, evil preys on weak people, and people who do not steward their mind and maintain sovereignty over their own mind are weak people. Thus, evil can penetrate them and work through them. And I think we're seeing probably not evil people, but we're seeing evil working through these weak people. Let's take a look.
Just got out of the movies, and for a split second, I thought Donald Trump had been assassinated, and I thought to myself, this is the best day of my life. And then he wasn't, so it's the worst day of my life.
Well, you have a very pathetic life then, that is a fact. Let's pick up where we left off with the opening gender studies major screaming in her car.
We were a second away! We were a centimeter away from half of the problem being gone, and you missed! There was a white man attached to that trigger. I know it!
She says there was a white man attached to the trigger. I know it. As in, he missed because he's a white man. This beautiful, all-loving DEI liberal is definitely implying that black people utilize guns more. And I love her lack of self-awareness, having no idea the racism that she just implied. Before we get to more of this vile liberal behavior, crying over the fact that President Trump still has his life, let's live in a world for a second where we assume something and we imagine, why are these people acting like this? Why do they wish he was dead? And what could have provoked this gunman to shoot President Trump? Now, we're living in this like make-believe world for a second where we pretend like this lone gunman where the FBI is saying like, oh, we got his phone like to investigate, and man, we can't get into his phone. The FBI is in your and I's phone right now. They're listening to anything they want to, so they could get into this guy's phone if they want, but they just like the idea of like, oh, yeah, lone gunman, looks like it, can't get in his phone, case closed. Lone gunman? Cool. Grassy Knoll? We're going with that? Okay, CIA, write the narrative. We're doing that. So if we lived in this world where it was like this lone gunman acting of his own accord and he wasn't influenced by any outside people or assisted by outside agencies, they happened to let the shooter on a roof and made sure Secret Service didn't do anything for over 2 minutes after he was spotted. That's a lot of like fantasy, but we're going to live in that world for a second and say, what would have radicalized this guy to want to assassinate President Trump? What radicalized these TikTokers to want another human being dead? Cut to tweets from Joe Biden and very consistent propaganda from the mainstream media, weaponized armed propaganda of the federal government run by the Biden administration, always analogizing Trump to Hitler. He's a threat to his democracy. So look at this quick tweet compilation from President Biden. Donald Trump is the greatest threat to our democracy. Donald Trump is a genuine threat to this nation. He's a threat to our freedom. He's a threat to our democracy. He's literally a threat to everything America stands for. Donald Trump is a threat to our democracy, and we cannot let him win. I'm in Madison, Wisconsin, talking to folks about what's at stake in this election. Tune in. What an idiot. Trump poses many threats to our country. The right to choose, civil rights, voting rights, and America is standing in the world. But the greatest threat he poses is to our democracy. If we lose that, we lose everything. So, a lot of people have heard all this rhetoric from the Biden administration and probably millions of hours of news propaganda coming out saying just the guy's a threat, he's a threat, he's a threat. What do you want to do with a threat? Eliminate him. What if you get an innocent guy who's actually out to do good, but you get him labeled a threat? Guess what? People will want to eliminate him. And of course, you need the corresponding propaganda and the arts. This is a Broadway play that plays out the assassination of President Trump. Glorifies it. Sick. This man that you're about to see has it right. This is at the Pennsylvania rally after the assassination attempt has happened. Listen to him as he's yelling at the media in their staging area. I endorse this man's message.
You remember what you got. This is your fault. You. This is your fault. Every last one. This is your fault. It is your fault. This is your fault. You. Hey, easy. This is your fault. I got you. Easy. Your fault. This is your fault.
Yeah, those Secret Service guys aren't women who don't know how to holster their guns. And obviously this man is filled with passion. He just watched President Trump get shot, let alone come within an inch of his life being taken away. So he has passion, yet he is also grounded in a reality that I share with him, that all the redundant messaging from the media, Trump is bad, he's a threat, he's the same thing as Hitler. Of course, people get radicalized to either want to make an attempt on his life and at the very least act like these lunatic TikTokers exhibiting this vile behavior, wishing that a good man was dead. Let's see more.
The message to whoever shot at Trump, you was a lame ass is how the did you shoot and miss? No, if you have a mission, make sure you hit that target right. You ain't practice before you get your ass over there, huh?
Absolutely disgusting. Let's see one more. Watching the Trump derangement syndrome run strong, which is, I think, needs to be classified as a mental illness. Because if you're not in control of your own mind, you are not mentally stable.
I'm not going to say the thing we're all supposed to say right now. You know why? I never want to be employed again. No, because while I do believe political violence has no place in our politics, it's already here.
It just started at the Pennsylvania rally.
Saying that is like saying money has no place in our politics or the Kardashians have no place in our politics.
So saying that's definitely not right. Saying violence has no place in our politics is like saying money has no place in our politics. A lot of people want money out of politics, but money being in politics is much better than killing in politics. But this person sees money in politics and violence in politics as one and the same.
It's a nice thought, but it's a little late. And in large part, thanks to this guy. This
blaming it on Trump.
And his movement that relishes in violence. Again.
He wants to end wars. Didn't get us in any new wars. He wants to pull us out of Ukraine. He had a good, sensible plan to end the war in Afghanistan. Biden, screw that up. This guy who on January 6th said, go home peacefully. Man, those are just ridiculously absurd calls to violence. And while the fog of brainwashing, Trump derangement syndrome being an element of the fog of brainwashing, we just saw it, and there's so many of these TikTokers making these videos wishing ill fate on President Trump, even being angry that the assassination wasn't successful. There's one thing I know for sure. You can tell people lies, you can sell them misconceptions, you can get them to trust you in order to be spoon-fed the lies that you want to feed them, but in the end, truth conquers. And that's why I love this iconic image of President Trump. Yes, it looks awesome. It's like the living embodiment of Braveheart, but it absolutely represents the opposite of what these TikTokers embody. Strength, courage, resiliency. It represents God wins. The devil tried, but God triumphed. And it represents truth conquers. With that said, there are some sickos out there, my friends. I pray for them. I hope they get well. And in the meantime, I am very grateful that God kept President Trump well. I think that gives you and I as Americans so much hope that our country will return to a state of wellness, because obviously we've been diseased. But there's some powerful natural immunity happening right now. and I love it. Let me know what you think in the comments below. I'll look forward to seeing you on our next video, but until then, stay free. My friend, you've heard me talk about the Wellness Company and their emergency medical kit for a while now, because I love it. And this next product is one I honestly believe every American should have also. Spike Support. Use your imagination why. I mean, for crying out loud, with so many previously healthy people experiencing things like myocarditis, blood clots, menstrual irregularities, turbo cancers, and the brand new died suddenly phenomenon, you kind of have to be blind with your head in the sand to not know that something is up. Many trusted experts who have been heavily censored believe the culprit is spike protein from both the you-know-what and the man-made you-know-what else. It's unfortunately linked to all kinds of long-term health issues, and even now Pfizer is admitting that there are problems. So many people, myself included, have been looking for answers on how to stay healthy, and we know those answers aren't going to come from Lord Fauci and folks like that. But truth-seeking doctors like Dr. Peter McCullough and Dr. Drew Pinsky and their team at the Wellness Company have emerged with some answers. There's one question that these doctors get every single day from their patients. How do I detox from the you-know-what and the you-know-what else? And now, thanks to the Wellness Company, there's actually something we can do. Spike Support is a unique blend of natural nutrients designed to help dissolve the spike protein in your body so you can stop waiting for the other shoe to drop and start feeling like yourself again. Reclaim your health at twc.health/JPReacts and use the code JPReacts for 15% off. I believe in this fight for truth and medical freedom, you owe it to yourself and your family to take back control of your health.